leadership is very important. I talked about the fuel, I talked about the recycling. Again, on the half of our CO2 on the scope 1 comes from the raw materials. To melt silica, we had sodium carbonate. To make the glass more stabilized, we use calcium and magnesium, but we use it in the form of calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate. So in fact, for every 100 kg of raw material we feed, only 82.3 kg becomes glass, the remaining 17.7 kg goes out predominantly as carbonate CO2. So if you have to get it down, conventional raw materials, hundreds of years of glass manufacturing the same raw material, we have to move away from this. It's not easy. A lot of work is happening across the world. When it comes to implementation, people are finding it a challenge. So that's where the quality mindset and the management of change really making it. Today, 100% of our limestone, which we use for tinter glass, is substituted with wollastonite, which is nothing but calcium silicate with 4% LOI versus the 44% LOI. If we, in our organization, did not have the quality mindset, we did not have the processes, and thanks again to the automotive industry, I'll acknowledge it, the IATF, we are not mandated to be an IATF organization because we are not an automotive direct supplier. But we went in for this, from the quality assurance to the process assurance. That mindset really helped us to go into and taking these bold decisions and moving away from the traditional raw material. It wasn't easy, a collaborative effort combined with the quality mindset of the organization. There are a couple of things which is related to the water and also related to the trees. Okay, this is again unsustainable. I will not talk too much about it, but I think in quality, even for example, if you look at, we are living in Chennai. That's why I use this water as an important thing. Not far from here, 2 kilometers away, when I landed in here as an 8-year-old boy in 1977, and my grandfather took me on the Adyar River overflowing. And the next 3 weeks, I was with the bucket looking for water. So that's the difficult situation in which we were in. 2004, we had the rainwater harvesting mandated by the government, which improved the water table by 3 times. From 9 meters, it became 3 meters. The TDS reduced from 800 ppm to 200 ppm. So the quality mindset can also come from certain bold, common sense decisions, but practical and to be implemented. The point why I am trying to make is everyone talks about conserving water. Everyone talks about planting trees. But how honestly are we really conserving and planting the trees? Again, it's a quality mindset. We have an organization with the entire team committed to the quality mindset. Walk the talk in terms of taking the actions. That breeds a lot of good thoughts in terms of processes in the manufacturing. That comes from some of these common sense like the water and the trees that we talked about. So that's on the sustainability. Next, quickly on the digital space. As I said again, same like sustainability, the kind of changes in the technology. We have been an IT-rich company since beginning. But the changes that I have seen, for example, as an young engineer in 1990s, when the distributor control systems came into the process industry, I was like, wow, everything is now superb. But now the advent of digital is the last 3 years, I'm seeing that it is 4 times the entire life changes that I've seen in the process industry. And to make this change is not easy. And for that, any change, I think the quality management has to be very carefully planned out. As I said, the distributed control system, today, for example, the AI-based systems are going into the data analytics and predicting what my process parameter is going to be after 45 minutes to 4 hours. I really don't know in this 1,800 tons of glass which is sitting in the furnace, which I cannot really visualize, what is really going to happen after 1 hour or 2 days, even for that matter sometimes. And this, with the advent of AI, is giving us so much of confidence that we are able to predict in such a way that process stability is 40% better, and that helps us to significantly improve our quality, and it's directly impacting our production yield and our profitability. So having the mindset to adapt to the changes, to have the digital is very important, and I'm really looking forward to all the youngsters here. There is no option, but you have to be literate in a big way. You can be an And A, B, C classification, even the previous NIQR, this is what I said. You have an acumen to understand the machine learning and the AI. You want to be full-time, please do that. That's a B classification of people who will be subject matter experts. But if you learn this AI and the machine learning and the data analytics, you can significantly change. And that's a C category of people. If you are not aware of these things, how to use it, then the future is going to be very bleak. So learn this digital, and it's really going to know the tsunami in which it's changing. And 6,000-year-old, like, manufacturing industry like ours, the glass manufacturing, you can see what is going to do for all the new age manufacturing as well. And Dr. Sumantran mentioned about how the manufacturing in India has to really come up. And I'm happy to say that in our experience, in our industry, India is really playing the role as a pilot. And our engineers from here, right sitting here in Chennai, not far from here, in Guindy, the Indec 4.0 center that we have, is really contributing in a significant way. And for this to be adapted, I think it is important for us to have a quality mindset and the team behind this. So that's where I kind of link in with the resilience of the quality mindset. The third is in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion. Diversity, with not so happy to see the amount of the number of women represented here. I hope in the subsequent sessions we will have more number of women, but also the science community and also the Gen Zs. Okay, so there is a lot of, I love working with Gen Zs, to be honest. I love working with all the people who are geeks with the digital. Be part of it. Don't resist what they are. The generations are different. And to bring in an heterogeneous group work together, I think a quality management has to be so resilient. If we do not have the mindset of accepting changes and adapt, and at the same time assuring the quality, I think we will not be able to adapt to different mindsets. So the differences by way of the way the scientists think, the way the Gen Zs think, and the diverse way with the women leadership are really bringing into the table is significantly impacted in a positive way. And on that count, I strongly feel that from the future manufacturing point of view, on these three accounts, on the sustainability and the digital and the diversity, equity, inclusion, the quality leadership will stay resilient. And we are passing through an exhilarating period where we think the legacy of Saint-Gobain 360 years can continue. And today the need of the hour to tie up all the three things which I mentioned, the quality leadership is the one which is important. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkat. You collect at the end of 3 sessions. So next speaker is Mr. Muthu Marthachalam. He is the president of Daimler India and he is the chief of operations. He is a mechanical engineer and has done masters in quality management. He has 25 plus years of multicultural work experience in automotive sector. His core competencies are quality management, supplier development, strategic planning, people development, global sourcing, supplier management, operations and logistics. That's why he is the president there. Now I can understand. He has 5 years of global experience as he has worked with Fuso Japan, heading customer quality. All of us know how Japanese customers are and how much demanding they are. So to lead customer quality in Japan for Japanese customers, it must be a real good experience for Mr. Muthu. So we are eagerly looking forward to listen to you. Stage is yours.
So, good afternoon all. First of all, it's an honor and privilege to be part of this panel. So first of all, thanks for the NIQR team to identify me and giving this opportunity to be a part of this panel. So really excited to be part of this one. Second thing, I know I'm standing between lunch and your lunch time, so maybe a request to all to be patient for another 30-40 minutes. We had heard the interesting speech from the previous panel, and I have another 20 minutes and next 30 minutes for you to do it. So I will quickly skip this slide because introduction was given by Sivanesan sir, but trust you, this is my photograph. Huh? You might look different now. This was a photograph 10 years back. I just love this, so I kept it. Some of you may confuse who is there in the photo, and I'm Mr. Different. It is not, it's me only. So before I start on the theme, I just want to give a background about where I'm coming from. So I'm representing Daimler India Commercial Vehicles. So you all know DICV is the subsidiary of Daimler Truck AG and producing trucks in India under the brand of Bharat-Benz. Not only for India, we are also producing trucks for the global markets under multiple brands, Mercedes-Benz, Freightliner and Fuso, and exporting to around 50 plus countries from the plant in Chennai. So in India, DICV started operation in 2009 early, and in 2011 we identified this brand for India, Bharat-Benz, and some of the key insights of the plant in India are we are located in Oragadam with a 400 acres plant, fully integrated plant, capable of producing trucks and buses with a capacity of 72,000 and 4,000. And we have so far invested around 1 billion in the plant in Chennai. So that's a brief background about the company I'm representing from. What to expect in next 20 minutes from me? Challenges in today's world. I think we heard about this since morning. What are the various challenges that we are as industry, we are as members in the industry facing towards us, be it a political, geopolitical situation, be it a war scenario, be it a supply chain risk. What are the different challenges is facing it? What differentiates great organizations? In spite of all these challenges, which is very common to all of us, there are some organizations which stands out, correct? And I would like to share my insights on what are the differentiation these organizations have in common, and some experience that I can share in this forum. Resilience in quality. What does mean by resilience? We talked since morning. I think all of us heard this one, but at least I can share one example or one insight. In my experience, this word resilient is most talked about after the COVID, correct? While the word itself is very new, but post-COVID, I think you can reflect yourself. We are talked about this resilience almost every day, correct? Resilient in supply chain, resilient in operation, resilience in logistics. So this is very commonly talked about in E1. So resilience is nothing but in spite of external challenges, in spite of complex situation that we are in, how we are able to sustain and how we are able to focus on continuous improvement. That's exactly the meaning of resilient. To give a metaphor about this one, you can understand the flower there, correct? When you look at a flower, we always remember a beautiful garden in home or a beautiful botanical situation, environment where a flower can blossom. But if you could recollect or if you can think about a situation where you would have seen some flowers also in the rocks and mountains, correct? Now that's not an environment where flower would like to be or a plant would like to be. But even in those environment, there are flowers which blossom amidst the rocks. I think that is the resilient when it talks about the plant by itself. So it is not worried about the environment, whether it's a very fertile land or not. It not worry about it as a water or not, but even in spite of being in rock, it can blossom. That's exactly what you can take it out about resilience. So in spite of challenges, how you are able to sustain and how you are able to blossom. Now, what are the challenges that we face in today's world? We talked about challenges, correct? Resilience to overcome the challenges. Now, what are the challenges that we face in today's world? Trade-off between quality and speed. I'm talking about typically in terms of any manufacturing setup, correct? We talked about this in the morning, correct? When it comes to quality and speed or quality and cost, always there is a trade-off, and sometimes quality takes a backseat. Right? And how we are prepared. In the past, we have seen product development life cycle changes. It takes around 5 years. In Western countries, it takes 5 years. We have seen what is happening in China. They are able to turn around the product development in 18 months. 18 months. So, particularly in these scenarios, always there is a challenge of time and quality. And how are we going to overcome these challenges without compromising quality? That's one challenge. The second challenge I see is increasing customer expectation and also changing customer expectation. I think all of us know what is our expectations 5 years or 10 years before and what is our experience currently when you go and buy a product, be it for our own use or be it for our what we give it to customers. The changes, expectations and the demands for customers are completely changing, and it is very dynamic, and the changes are happening much faster in the written times. Ownership concern, we talked about before, Sivanasan sir highlighted this one. Typically in organization, when it comes to quality, we believe it is a responsibility of the quality team. And all others feel that, okay, my job is to do something, quality job is to take the responsibility. But that's one of the challenges. Complaints-driven quality and not excellence-driven quality. Traditionally, our mindset in quality is, quality department is make sure the complaints are taken care. Audit is done, technical governance point is taken care, all the safety critical functions are checked and qualified. But it is beyond that one, are we looking at exceeding the expectations and driving excellence through quality? So these are some of the challenges that is in front of us. And the question is, in spite of all the, I mean, this is only some, there are many, I think you can add to it. But the question is, how in these challenging situations, we are going to build a resilience. I talked about the differentiation organization, correct? All of the companies, I think we are representing people from close to 100 plus companies here, correct? And every company that we know today are ISO, IATF or VDA certified, correct? So they are all meeting the basic quality standards. What constitute the basic quality standards? Quality systems and processes, governance, technology, and skilled workforce. At a high level, these are the 4 main themes that every organization needs for the quality requirement. Now, are these 4 layers sufficient to be a great organization? Because all the companies, as I said, all the companies are having all this. It's not that none of the companies are having it, correct? Without that, we cannot be in the business. But then why not all are in the same level when it comes to quality? There is one differentiating factors, which is the quality mindset. So in my view, the mindset, I think we heard this in the morning section also in the inauguration show. It's not about processes and systems, it's about the mindset, which on top of all this, which makes the differentiation when it comes to a resilient organization. Now, okay, we talked about mindset. What is mindset? How to define mindset, correct? So first I talked about quality is not about quality's team members' responsibility or quality organizations, but it is a responsibility of everybody. And way of thinking beyond process and systems. There is a role I am having as a quality engineer or a production engineer. I'm doing this one, but it is how we think beyond my role, looking at the quality. And how to inculcate this one, correct? So how to, okay, we talked about challenges, we talked about mindset is important to overcome the challenges, and we understood what is a mindset. Now how to inculcate this mindset? Okay, I'm okay to now do that. What is to be done for me, correct? So I believe the practices of core principles are more important to inculcate these things like that. This is an iceberg, you see. What we see on the outside layer is the systems and processes or challenges. What we see under the iceberg is the core principles and mindset. In summary, if the principles that we practice will convert into the, creates a quality mindset, and that quality mindset will create a continuous improvement environment, which addresses to overcome the challenges that we face in the organization. In a way, we call it as a resilient in quality. So this is how the principles and the core values will make it a resilient leadership. Now, where we should start? We talked about mindset, where we should talk about, correct? Everything starts with leadership team. We understood from the previous speaker also that, and also in the morning section we talked about, While we generally talk about quality is everybody's responsibility, which is true, which is must, but it starts with the leadership thought. And one example, I think all of us would have seen this one, what Steve Jobs has said in the past. In 1984, when the first Mac was made, he saw the PCB board, which is a bit ugly, the way it was layout was made, way it was done. And the mindset of the team at that time was, anyway, PCB board is going into the computer, so nobody is going to, the customer is not going to see it, he's only perform it. But he gave a quote saying that this is not how the customer should be considered. No? Imagine we have all the products, many of the products that we don't see, which is behind, can we have an inferior quality. So that's the vision of the leadership and how it can shape this one. So to bring this core principles, some of the key principles to have this resilient organizations are customer centricity, transparency, built-in quality, and focus on process, not on the output. I will give brief about what I meant with all these four. When it comes to customer centricity, it's about understanding what the customer wanted and either meet or exceeds expectations. Imagine you go to a coffee shop, ask for a tea, and the guy feels that coffee is much better today, I'll give you a copy. He doesn't understand the need of the customer. So very, very important is for us to understand the customer expectations. Being customer obsessed, not competition focused. I can give you a lot of examples. I think all of us use Amazon here, correct? All of us use Amazon here. Amazon was the first who thought about what customer needed and brought this Prime membership, because customer was thinking, I want to order, but I wanted to get the delivery of the products much earlier than what it is traditionally used to be. So they brought the concept of Prime membership, which makes the delivery or receive of the product much faster. Second, that's one example. And the last one is long-term trust over short-term gains. This is other customer centricity focused. Again, take the example of Amazon. I think all of you would have used Amazon. If you get a product and if you find it is not okay for some reason, because you didn't like it or you didn't expect thing, there is a process of return, correct? And would have we imagined 5 years or 10 years back that return policy is so simple? All they ask is take a photograph, submit a return request, next minute or next hour, you get the amount back in our account, correct? They don't even look at the product whether you dispatched or not. That's the trust they build into the customers. And when we order, we don't worry about whether it is right or not. Like we order merchandise in thing, right? We buy it, we wear it, and we return it back saying that size is unfit. Nobody asks questions. But that is because Amazon trust build a trust over long term. It is not short term. There will be some misuse, there will be some losses, but they're not worried about that one. They're worried about building trust for the long time. Transparency, building trust amongst the team. One example I can quote in our organization is how we are building a trust and how we are building a culture of avoiding fear and failure, correct? So in our organization, we recently started in Daimler India, started the TQM journey. 1.5 years before, we also wanted to get into the TQM journey. And we started this culture of bad news first. I think Mr. Sriram mentioned in the opening speak about this culture, bad news first. We started this one, we learned from the TQM philosophy. And we started this practice of talking about bad news first, starting from the board meeting till the operation meeting. Now what we are trying to do is creating an environment of trust in making sure every team member is coming and sharing the bad news so that there is no culture of fear. And second thing, create an environment where we are giving an opportunity for somebody to try and do some improvements. Even if there is a failure, we are supporting that one. So this is the second thing, creating transparency across the value chain. Built-in quality, I think traditionally we discussed about quality is, I'm a production guy. My job description talks about I need to take this part and assemble this part, make 5 bolts, torque as per the specification mentioned here, correct? When he talks about built-in quality, we're talking about his job is not only doing this, what is described in the job element sheet, but also make sure that the part or the bolts that he use is in the right quality, supplied, right part being supplied, and also make sure that we finish this one. So what we called as a CDC, again, a philosophy from TQM, it's check, do, check, correct? Earlier we were only doing check. Now we are trying to build this into this one. And second thing is we also authorized all our operators in the line to pull the hand on system, to pull the plug if he or she finds something is not going on right, correct? It's more of authority to everybody. So basically we are trying to bring a culture of identifying defects early in the value chain, which can be prevented because the consequence of that going out is much more higher down the value chain. Focus on the process, not out the output. Now you may question, are we not serious about output? I would say no. Definitely we should be mindful about output, but definitely my thing is focus more on the process. For example, we travel every day to our office or every day to some place, correct? We always know what time we have to reach there. And we know the travel time, but we always start looking at the process, correct? What time we need to start, how we need to go, which route we need to go, what is the traffic conditions on that day, is there anything special happening on the road, should I take a detour, etc. This is the process that we follow to reach there on time. So output is important, but more important for us is to make sure that we follow a process which is more structured and which is more focused about making the best result out of this one. So that's very, very important. That's why we say focus on the process. I'm not saying not focus on the result, but more focus on the process.